Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshulmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavascha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Shri Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha nama om vishnupadaya krishna prishthaya bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. When Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Sanatana Goswami to write on the methodology of worship, he included the Vaishnava etiquette as a prime importance aspect. That will be the maturity, considered maturity of a devotee. When one is properly disciplined through the behavior, and he quotes the Dashaparādas, 10 offenses from I think Padma Purana, and elaborates in them and quotes that the same thing for the purpose of both external and internal maturity. These offenses are committed knowingly or unknowingly. So therefore, it is better to know, and then knowingly if we can restrain ourselves, then our path for maturity towards the devotional service will become easy. So, generally we recite as a daily function this 10 offenses to remind us. But at the time of the first initiation in ISKCON, it has become customary to expose the meaning of the 10 offenses and to make us more knowledgeable about the effect that it causes. Offenses are violations, right? And violations require some punishment, or in other words, it's called atonement, to rectify it. It's not that nothing is rectifiable, but when we take the means of our spiritual upbringing through the potency of the holy name, and because the holy name is non different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, holy name becomes the first and foremost for a devotee as a shield of protection. And offenses are taken by the holy name itself. Before a devotee, when he is on a regulated platform of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The holy name is the most principal, effective method to wipe out all the inebrities of the material existence. That potency is to be given prime importance, and as if it is the rule, cardinal rule, that it cannot be offended. It must be put up on the highest weight platform, highest platform. So, Haridas Thakur also describes the grave, very grave effects of the offenses. Such explanation through the mouth of an illiterate and a yavan by nature is nothing but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's explanation. And he was not taught, but the holy name taught him the perfectness. That was the opinion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, if such a person can be also resurrected, uplifted on the highest platform of Namacharya, the most important professor of educating us about the efficacy of the holy name. The holy name and Haridas both are inseparable. It is so important to understand. So that explains in Harinam Chintamani. Can you imagine Bhaktivedanta Thakur, who wrote this treatise on the teachings of Haridas Thakur, he underwent so many difficulties to find the authentic teachings. Many Gaudiya Vaishnavas, just like they were obsessed by the prestige, profit and adoration. In Nadia district, they were propounding their place to be the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Thakur Bhaktivedanta considered that because the issue which is profit, adoration and distinction, then it is not the pure teaching. It should come in the behavior. So similarly, he also treated the teachings of Haridas Thakur to be of that much importance. Haridas Thakur's teachings were not much known, but at the same time, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exalted him as the Namacharya, Bhaktivedanta Thakur was thinking that there must be some authentic teachings available. It's by divine inspiration. So he was searching for such teachings based on Haridas Thakur and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's. So many came forward there with what they had, but Bhaktivedanta Thakur scrutinizingly, told them, no, this is not. He was waiting. So somehow or another, by Lord Krishna's grace, he came across from Ramanuja Sampradaya, a Ramanandi sadhu had such a treatise, and it was exactly matching with all the external and internal aspects of the explanation of the efficacy of the holy name. And that was called Amnaya Sutra. And Bhaktivedanta Thakur, it was in Sanskrit. So Haridas is teaching in Sanskrit, Yavan Muslims teaching in Sanskrit, but Bhaktivedanta Thakur scrutinizingly, studied and approved. So on that basis, he translated Harinam Chintamani, and it is put forward. He also desired to publish that Amnaya Sutra. The Sutra means formula for the disciplic succession with the cardinal principle of offenses in the holy name. So we study in detail what does it mean to offend the holy name. It is exactly to offend Lord Krishna. So one has to be very careful. And when we are living in the society of Vaishnavas, according to Haridas Thakur, a Vaishnava is the one who has chanted the holy name once. That's good enough. And for the entire life, one has to be very careful. And especially, he said, the householders, they must, be very careful not to offend such a Vaishnava who has chanted the holy name once. So, how cautious he was not to offend. How that cautiousness brought a behavior in him which was so much conducive to chant the holy name. Trunadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnama amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahare. So, when we study the Harinam Chintamani systematically, Haridas Thakur explains the efficacy of the holy name. So to offend that holy name, knowingly or unknowingly, will create a reverse effect. The most irreversible effect is caused when one is offending a sadhu, a devotee who has dedicated his life in propagating the holy name of the Lord. Because the holy name is so powerful, it is by the mercy of the holy name, it is spreading that Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartan. The holy name is powerful energy of the Supreme Lord, and without that being invested in a sadhu or a devotee, one cannot even spread the holy name. So those who are engaging in spreading the holy name, they must be invested with the potency. Otherwise, how is it possible? It's a simple understanding. So to offend a devotee, knowingly or unknowingly, even in subconscious state, it is going to take effect. Unconscious state or what we call subconscious state, prior to unconsciousness, subconscious state is there. Then subconscious state, one thinks even in dream to offend a devotee, one has to be careful. Because the holy name is at core, and even in subconscious state it can purify, because these are the states of ignorance, and some are apparently ignorant, but death is the deepest existence of ignorance. So in between conscious and unconscious states are, we may keep on in ignorance. Even though we are conscious, we tend to remain material and not think of Krishna. So that constitutes offenses. To blaspheme a devotee who has dedicated his life for propagating the holy name of the Lord, this is the explanation that because it is the power of the holy name that it is spreading, it is infusing us to glorify the holy name in all favorable circumstances. So when the holy name himself is going to be responsible, the offenses created to a devotee goes on the holy name. And we have to be very careful. Even in the mind, when one commits an offense, then pray hard to Lord Krishna to pardon him. That because it has not reached to a gross offense to a devotee's lotus feet. That's okay. But if we commit gross offense at the lotus feet of the devotee, we must piteously cry and beg for forgiveness. And take in the vow in the assembly of devotees that he will never do it again. So that will be the so much fearful and threatening situation for the destruction of our own devotional service. So we need to be very careful never to commit an offense at the lotus feet of a devotee. A devotee is engaged in devotional service. He doesn't deserve to be offended. Otherwise, holy name will be offended. So this is the only offense that is being pardoned by the devotee, and holy name will not spare. If a devotee can spare you, then holy name will act to rectify him. So we have to be aware and always remain alert that we never commit an offense at the feet of, even in the midst of controversies. You may have a different opinion, but that does not necessary to lead towards an offense. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada said, if you love Krishna, if you love me, then your love will show by cooperation. We may have difference of opinion, but still we need to cooperate. That will not create any offenses. That will be prevented. The second offense is to consider the names of Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of name of Lord Vishnu. Vishnu Shakti Paraprokta. Lord Vishnu's position is the supreme because he is the origin of everyone else. If Lord Shiva and Brahma are originated from Vishnu, then how come the creation is equivalent to the Creator? It's not possible. The creation is a product of the Creator. A product is not greater than the Creator. So, independent, to think that they are also independent, but in the Shastra, we don't find that they act independently. They may act independent upon you, but under the direction of Lord Krishna. That is the rule. If Krishna creates everything and if you agree, then all the creations are working under the scheme or plan of Lord Krishna. They do not violate because it's an eternal aspect. Eternality cannot tolerate any deviation. If we want to preserve the Vaishnava principles, Prabhupada is so protective. Don't listen to anything else. If you go out of the periphery that I created for you, I gave all my books, why do you need to go to somebody else? A branch by itself is taking the essentials of all nourishment from the main tree. But since it's a different branch, it does not depend upon other branches. It depends upon the continuation of the nourishment through the roots, through the trunk, through the branch, independently. A branch does not depend upon another branch. Right? So this is important. Never go out of the periphery of ISKCON. It's not that you have to leave ISKCON because you have a different opinion. Where does it say? It doesn't say anything. So similarly, our dependency is on Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, he is the founder and Acharya. His teachings are most predominant teaching. And through our understanding made it available easy without deviation, and we have to follow. So, the names of devatas, the demigods, depend upon the trunk, main source of all the potencies, that is Lord Krishna. Any dependent entity cannot have independence. Therefore, the word Swarat is used for Krishna alone. Tene brahmaradaya adi kavaye mohyante surya tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo trishargo amrusha dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam. Dhamna svena. He is, the Creator is in His own abode. Svena sada, for eternity. Kuhakam means is so much steadfast and independent. Nirasta means he doesn't have any, he is not having control of by anybody. He is the only independent existence. So, Satyam Param Dhimahi, anything that is dependent upon something, he is not Param Satya. He is a relative truth. But his relative truth is dependent upon the independent truth. So Satyam Param Dhimahi, that is Krishna's position. You can't equate the demigod's position with him. So this is the important principle that comes in our sampradaya, in our and we need to be very cautious of that. Otherwise, Mayavad is mixing up everything. They don't come in a strict disciplic succession from Krishna. They create their own succession right from somewhere, And generally they try to tag with Adi Shankara. But you will see they don't respect Adi Shankara. And Adi Shankara cheats them by creating a false doctrine called Mayavad, Ashat Sastram. So the demigod's position is always dependent upon Lord Krishna. And these positions are transferable. Any powerful living entity can occupy the position of Indra. Shivaji's position nobody occupies. Nobody can ever. Why? Because he is the direct transformation from Vishnu, and nothing other, no other entities are transformation of Lord Vishnu. So, and it is an irreversible transformation. It cannot change back into that position. Only he has to meditate upon that existence. That's about it. Lord Shiva himself chants the mantra of his Mul, the original form, that is Sankarshan. So he chants Sankarshan mantra. But he will never be able to regain the Sankarsana identity. So that is a unique position. He is not a Jiva, he is Shiva. And falsely people said, oh, Shivoham, Shivoham, or Soham, Soham. Both are bogus. Lord Shiva can say, yes, I am Shiva. He doesn't say I am Vishnu. He keeps that respect. But Durga Mata can also similarly assert. Sometimes Jiva Goswami in Brahma Samhita's commentary, he writes, in some Mohini Tantra, Durga tells, I am Radha. So, but she respects. That was the original form of Radha. And she also got transformed. So, material energy is created by Krishna. It is a shadow energy of the spiritual energy and works under the direction of Lord Krishna. The third offense is to disobey the orders of spiritual master. What it means that spiritual master has no other business than to remain on the spiritual side. His guidance, his teachings and his activities are meant for uplifting the spiritual position of the soul, his own soul and others. He doesn't act as a material counselor. He may hear, but the solution will be spiritual. He has no other business, So his instructions are on the foundation of spiritual solutions. Then to disobey the instructions which are given when needed and then neglect them, then that is an offense. to the spiritual master. A spiritual master is a representative of Lord Krishna, is a via transparent medium. As much transparency you get, it is for your benefit. So one tries to become transparent, and we also gain that transparency in that much capacity if we follow. So the instructions are powerful because spiritual nature is powerful than material nature. There is always a spiritual solution for all the material problems. There are no material solutions. A patchwork is not called a solution. So, spiritually, we are connected with Krishna, and spiritual master has to keep that sambandha for spiritual upliftment on. He is not a political person to twist the matter. He has obligation to his spiritual master and in turn ultimately to Lord Krishna. So that is the service. Sometimes such services also become thankless, but nonetheless he does not give up the spirituality and take the help of it to resolve any kind of problems. So, when his instructions are spiritual, then we have to understand. If we cannot understand, we can ask that how the spiritually beneficial this solution may be. We can go into details. But he gives, according to the verdict of the Shastra, which is spiritual in nature. A spiritual master is said to be Shastre Parecha Nishanatam, and his personal character should be that Brahmani Samupashrayam. He has taken shelter of the Supreme Brahman. And whatever the revelations and the Shastras are, which are spiritual in nature, he picks up as conclusive aspect of his counseling, spiritual counseling. So therefore it is said, Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyasu Sreya Uttam Shastri Parichunishnatam Brahmani Samupashrayam. Because he has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he always favors the spiritual solution over any material adjustments. The fourth, fifth, and sixth offenses are for those who are literate. But the literacy in the material life is a little bit an obstacle, according to Queen Kunti. Literacy means too much learnedness, what we call. Janmaishwarya Sruta. Sruta means learned. It becomes obstacle in devotional service. So, those who are learned, they may be learned in many shastras also. And we have seen in our ISKCON life that they become a confrontational issues. not a leaf falls. There were so much literature was written about and became talk of controversies. A jiva never falls, but he falls and never falls both. Why not? Falling is not transcendental situation, right? It's a material conception in the duality, this opinion, falling and not falling. But people become obsessed and they quote so many things of different shastras. But we have to take conclusion from the spiritual master. And Prabhupada says both. And everything is possible. So why do we become obstinately, either one-sided or give some our own interpretations? So the fourth offense is to disobey or to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in Vedic version. It's an offense. The next is to think chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra to be an imagination and to interpret the holy name. Srila Prabhupada gave us meaning of Mahamantra, and we can't construe other meaning out of it. Right? So those who are learned, they should not create unnecessary dialogue to give his own opinion. Said, my 2 cents worth, this is according to what I think. Be simple and accept what Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada gives us in nutshell and pure kernel to consume. Forget the outer shells or the glories of the outer shell. Take up the meaning which is very confidentially coming out from the dictate of Lord Shri Krishna directly through Srila Prabhupada. We don't need anything more. So we have to prevent ourselves unnecessarily indulging into the mistrust on the Vedic conclusions. We have to stop thinking that, our chanting is imaginary. And we have to also stop offending the import of the holy name. And we cannot construe a meaning out of it. Oh, according to me, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is this meaning. Oh, I have found out a new meaning. Now, we need to go into the legacy depends upon how do we follow Srila Prabhupada. All right? So, this 4th, 5th and 6th offenses are generally applicable to those who are accustomed to use their brain only, not their heart. So literacy becomes an obstacle, can commit offenses. The 7th offense is to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. We think the holy name is just for my practice. So after the practice is over, I can do any damn thing. All right? Such an idea, if we harbor, then we will lead into some kind of even unknowingly committing an offense, unknowingly. And we won't realize even that we really committed an offense. Because I think I'm Krishna conscious, even though it is hallucination. Otherwise, why would we derive the strength which is spiritual and convert it into material for our sense gratification. That is an offense. Such thoughts are also offensive to the holy name. So, never to commit. Eighth offense is to consider chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra to be one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as karmakanda. We are not karmakandi. In karmakanda, people want to fulfill their desires, which are material in nature. Krishna is asking that whatever you do, you offer to me for my pleasure. And if you do not have pleasure and you are offering, do you think such offering can be accepted? No. So, pleasure comes with love. So he says, now offer with me with love and devotion. Why devotion? Because that service will reach to me. Any work is not called devotion. Oh, I am devoted to my wife and children. That's good. I'll go back home. No, probably their planet you may go, where they may be residing. But the idea is that we are targeting the highest destination, and we can't change our destiny. Destination and destiny, they are both the same. If we don't understand properly, then destination can change. So, we are not karmakandis. We are not doing a welfare work. If our taking the vows in front of fire, sacrifice in front of the devotees and deities, their vows are meant for pleasing Lord Krishna. And we are all witnesses. So, the judgment would be based on the motivation. Everybody can figure out what is the motivation. So we have to be very strict that we are not performing something of a social prestige. Many people, many devotees want second initiation for prestige. And that becomes a big obstacle. It becomes a big obstacle. Second initiation is an advancement, of course, but an advancement that leads to Paramatma realization will be given to only some qualified, minimally qualified and agreeable to follow that strict discipline, stricter discipline, other than chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It has to be continued, but the stricter discipline of deity worship, Brahminical nature, cultivation. Otherwise, our seva to the deity does not reach. There must be training that is agreeable, but we have to reach to that perfectional stage of performing deity worship by cultivating our behavior. Only in that congruent field where We want to serve the deity as we want to serve ourselves. No effort should be spared. Everything should be employed in that carefulness of conducting the deity worship. Deities should be treated to the utmost. Sometimes we do not know how do we want to be treated. We try to see through comparative vision, but then we change opinion if we do on a comparative aspect. It changes different standard. But now, this is the treatment of love. How do you want to be loved? In reciprocation, how would you perform that loving devotional service? So, we have not reached to that loving state, but at the same time, the second aspect, after knowing who Krishna is, then deity worship, who Paramatma is, that has to be acquired first. Krishna addresses to Arjuna also, Tameva Sharanam Gaccha. Take, shelter of the Paramatma in your heart. Hare Baba, you are Supreme Personality, why do I have to go to Paramatma? No, that is me, Krishna says. Very next verse, he says, it dispels the doubt. Otherwise we think, we can go to Paramatma and then forget Krishna. No. Krishna says, that is my expansion. But you have to realize. So, the perfection of our chanting of the holy name depends upon how protected chanting are we doing. Very safe, we have to trade our progress very safely. So these are the things. Ninth is, yes, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Yeah, Krishna says, don't waste your time and energy. Means it is me, a time and it is my potency. Why do we have to waste? Do we have any right to waste it? Rather, we are very careful. We have to speak precisely, where precision is required. Subject matter spoken precisely is the true eloquence. True eloquence. Prabhupada maintains that standard. So not a single word is, uselessly spoken. We have to create that kind of standard. When we mix up politics in spiritual life, then things will be different. Prabhupada never did. He wants to serve Krishna. If politics is in favor of Krishna's service, good. But it's a disservice, then the person who takes the decision will be suffering. So, to be careful in transmitting the holy name on importance to a right person who is favorable. But you may question, how do we know this guy is favorable or not? As soon as you start talking of Krishna, he will not listen. So you pay attention on him and do not waste your time after him. That's good enough. It's not a crime to find out who is not favorable, who is an atheist, who doesn't have that. Either he will walk away or you will have to walk away. But don't waste your time. If he wants to catch you and hold you, then you go with somebody so you can also hold. Alright? Rupa Goswami gave strict regulations for such a thing ever occurred. He will tell, if you can't make him stop speaking or arguing, better get ready to take out his tongue. Yeah. But we are not violent people, but at the same time, it's better to retreat. Right. The 10th offense is to becoming inconsiderate. Inconsiderate in what? Even after hearing the glories of the holy name and efficacy, we still keep on keeping material attachments as if in reserve. Then we will not get the full advantage. To keep on material attachment means we have asat-trishna, means hankering for temporary material things. And we keep working hard and waste our life, even though we believe in chanting, but we do not practice. So many complacencies are there. So, they will not help us, rather it will become redundant. It is compared with an elephant's bath. An elephant takes bath in clear water, but as soon as he comes out on the land, he takes up dirt and sprinkles on himself. The Shaucha Kunjaravat. So, these are the 10 offenses, they are main. This is on the holy name itself. But then, if we do not know, can't prevent, then other offenses are waiting. They are called dhamaparadas. We are talking of namaparadas only, because you are committing yourself to chant the holy name, 16 rounds, and following 4 regulative principles. So, this is the primary requirement to become regulated and take up the legacy. But the dhamaparadas and seva aparadas are there. This offenses in service, offenses in the holy dham. Others will be, namaparadas and Vaishnava aparadas. The first is Vaishnava aparada. And out of all the aparadas, only one aparada is the most grievous, and there we describe that it can only be resolved when we beg our forgiveness piteously, crying at the lotus feet of that devotee who we offended. Because he is a devotee, he is supposed to forgive. But you go and you find out, oh, he's not forgiving. That's okay. You did your job. You will not be affected. But that devotee will suffer because he is committing a chain reaction of the aparadhas. But the best, we should not become an initiator of the aparadha. Otherwise the chain reaction will be there and you will feel guilty. Oh, because see, I induced him to commit an aparadha. So these are subordinate, but we prevent ourselves by protecting not to commit any aparadhas, especially at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Rest of the aparadhas sooner or later will be absolved by chanting. Keep on chanting. Abha's names are going to give you liberation. So keep on chanting. And they will dissolve all the other aparadhas. Because more you chant, more you will be realizing. The misunderstandings that created by equating even the demigods or misinterpretation and blasphemy of Vedic literature or consider the names of demigods and Krishna are the same, and all these aparadhas will be absolved by continuous chanting, because chanting will help us to know more, and such knowledge eventually becomes fixed in our mind, and these aparadhas will be rectified. So we need to be careful on that. So please try to chant without any offense. If an idea comes in your mind, just make it shut up. So our life will be securely progressing on the path of devotion, and Krishna blesses. So, in the time, please pay your obeisances to the deities, and you can come and face this way and chant Mula Mantra, Guru Pranam, what we call, and I will ask you promises, okay, and knowledgeability about the four offenses. So please get up and both should get up. But you can start invoking the fire and everything. Yeah, Mataji should also go. Yeah. This is Jigar Prabhu. Jigar Prabhu is Jigar क्या होता है? Is a piece of heart. Right? Well, in Krishna consciousness, our consciousness comes from the real source called Jigar, that is the heart of our consciousness, wellspring. So it's a deep, but by chanting, that knowledge will be revealed. And Krishna is the source of all knowledge. And if we chant His holy name, He will be known to us. Right? So now tell me, you will chant 16 rounds daily without fail? And what are the 4 regulative principles?
No eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex.
Yeah. So Krishna will be known to you. So I am conferring His name as Jnana Gamya Das. Through knowledge of Krishna consciousness, Krishna will be revealed. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Jai Mata Di. Hare Krishna. Jai. Mataji, you also promised to chant 16 rounds without fail. And what are the 4 regulative principles? Mataji's name is Roshni. Roshni is not a Gujarati word. Gujarati? Or a Muslim, Islamic word. Roshan. The Roshan, Roshani. The spelling is R-O-S-H-N-I, right? Roshan. Roshandan. Roshan woman. But anyway, your real Roshani is inside. So, if I take out O and put A, it will become Rasanidhi Devi Dasi. Rasanidhi, no more Roshni. Right? So, okay.
So if you know these mantras, just chant them through with us. And so, just again, just a little archman just before you do. And when we say swaha, of course, we can throw the grains. Do you want other brahmanas? Or just other brahmanas throw grains? I'll recite, yeah. Would you like to recite Maharaj? Yeah.
Tadvishnu parampadam sudha prashyanti subhaya divyachakshara tam tadviprasu panvaja ramamsa samindir vishnu jat parampadam om madhava madhava vachi madhava madhava hridhi sarantir sadhava sarvakarishu madhava aham krishna vaisacchidananda gana krishna adi purusha krishna purushottama krishna karmati mulam krishna sa ha sarvakari mukhadish prabhu pujya krishna nadish sajadantara bahiryan mangalam tallabete kriti Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare I'll start. So I will recite mantra, then you repeat. Om अज्ञानं तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जना शलाकया चक्षुः उन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। स्वाहा स्वाहा स्वाहा। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। स्वाहा स्वाहा स्वाहा। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुत पदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान् अन्वितांश्च स्वाहा स्वाहा स्वाहा।
Vedavyasapriya Swami, Vinamine,
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे स्वाहा स्वाहा स्वाहा। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती इति नामिने श्रीवासभानवी देवी दयिताय कृपाब्धये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्यज्वल प्रेमाध्या श्रीमान रूपानुग भक्तिदा से गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनतारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्ध अपसिद्धांत ध्वांत आरिणे स्वाहा स्वाहा स्वाहा। नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भ रसाम्बोधे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः। स्वाहा स्वाहा स्वाहा। नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुग वरायते स्वाहा 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 गौराविर्भाव भूमिस्त्वं निर्दिष्ट सज्जनप्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः स्वाहा 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 वाञ्छा कल्पतरु एव च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा 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 नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः स्वाहा 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 पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं स्वाहा 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 हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते स्वाहा 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 जयतां सुरतो पंगो मम मंद मते गति मत्सर्वस्व पदाम्भोजो श्री राधा मदन मोहन स्वाहा 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 दिव्य वृंदारण्य कल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद् रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद् राधा श्रील गोविंद देवो पृष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि स्वाहा 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 श्रीमान रास रसारंभी वंशीवट तटस्थितः कर्षण वेणु स्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथाय श्रीयस्तुनः स्वाहा 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 तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये स्वाहा 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 जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद स्वाहा 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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Now take the reminder of the grains and the banana in both your palms and stand up. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Brahmanya Hitaya Cha, Jagatitaya Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha, Brahmanya Devaya, Brahmanya Hitaya Cha, Jagatitaya Krishnaya, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare